The parasitic sky, the hidden kingdom above. We have always looked at the clouds and seen nothing but water and light. We call the sky serene. We call it empty, but we're breathing in a lie. The atmosphere is not a void. It is a vast, invisible kingdom populated by trillions of biological entities that have spent eons evolving in the freezing, irradiated reaches of the stratosphere. This is the aerobiome. For every breath you take, you are inhaling a hidden world that is no longer content with just floating. It is looking for a way down. For decades, we believed that rain was a simple physical process. We were wrong. At the heart of almost every raindrop lies a nucleator, a seed around which water freezes. In the reality of dark nature, these seeds are alive. Organisms like Pseudomonas, syringae have hijacked the weather itself. They possess specialized proteins that force ice to form at temperatures far above normal. They do not just fall with the rain. They command the storm to manifest so they can descend to the surface. They are the silent architects of the clouds, and we are their final destination. As the jet streams shift, these airborne pathogens travel across continents in hours, invisible and unstoppable. They're the shadow in the wind, the sickness in the mist. When the sky turns a bruised purple and the air begins to vibrate with a rhythmic, low-pitched hum, know that the descent has begun. The era of the safe sky is over. The atmosphere has developed a mind of its own, and it is hungry. The descent is only the beginning. Once these biological invaders reach the soil, the true transformation of our world commences. They do not merely inhabit the environment, they reprogram it. We are seeing the rise of bioaerosols, living mists that settle in low-lying valleys, turning forests into silent, breathing chambers. These mists are not composed of water, but of a hyper-evolved fungal network that uses the wind as its nervous system. The horror is not in the storm, but in the aftermath. Animals caught in these living fogs begin to exhibit strange, coordinated behaviors. Their lungs are slowly replaced by a porous, sponge-like tissue that filters the air for more spores, turning every living creature into a mobile dispersal unit. They become windwalkers, hollowed-out shells of their former selves, driven by a singular, collective impulse to reach the highest point possible and release their cargo back into the stratosphere. Even our cities are not safe. The concrete canyons of our civilizations create perfect wind tunnels for the aerobiome. It settles in our ventilation systems, colonizing the very air we trust. We are now living in a world where the atmosphere has become a predatory intelligence. Every gust of wind is a scout, every breeze is a threat, and the sky above is no longer a ceiling, but a vast, open mouth waiting for the world to exhale its last breath. This atmospheric takeover is not limited to biological tissue. The aerobiome has begun to merge with the inorganic world. We are observing the emergence of crystal vines, structures that grow from the moisture in the air, anchoring themselves to skyscrapers and mountain peaks. These are not plants. They are mineral-based neural networks, pulsating with the static electricity harvested from lightning strikes. They act as massive lightning rods, feeding the sky with the energy it needs to maintain its conscious grip over the planet. The very chemistry of our air is shifting. The oxygen levels are being manipulated to create hyperoxic zones, areas where even a single spark can trigger a firestorm that reaches miles into the sky. These fires are not accidental. They are a cleansing mechanism. The aerobiome uses the massive heat to create powerful updrafts, lifting millions of tons of new, mutated spores back into the high atmosphere. It is a closed-loop system of planetary digestion, where the surface is the furnace and the sky is the harvester. Humanity's technology is failing against this invisible tide. Satellite signals are being scrambled by the dense, bioelectric clouds that now shroud the Earth. Our sensors report a rhythmic pulsing in the ionosphere, a heartbeat that matches no known life form. We are witnessing the birth of a global lung. The Earth is no longer a rock covered in life. It is becoming a singular, breathing organism And the air we once considered our birthright has become the very digestive fluid that is breaking us down. The invasion has now reached the level of sensory deception. The aerobiome has learned to manipulate the refraction of light within the mist, creating sky mirages. Entire ghost cities and lush, green havens appear on the horizon, glowing with an unnatural, welcoming light. These are traps. When the desperate move toward these illusions, they walk directly into high-density spore pockets. The air in these zones is so thick with biological intelligence that it begins to vibrate, mimicking the frequencies of human speech, whispering names of the lost to lure the survivors deeper into the haze. Nothing is silent anymore. The wind now carries a melodic, haunting resonance, a planetary choir produced by the wind rushing through the hollowed-out remains of forests and abandoned steel structures. This sound is not random. It is a specialized infrasound frequency designed to induce paralysis and intense euphoria in mammalian nervous systems. Those who hear it stop running. They sit down, close their eyes, and allow the silver frost of the aerobiome to coat their skin, becoming living statues that serve as anchors for the expanding neural web. The boundary between the Earth and the firmament has finally dissolved. A new phenomenon, known as the vertical convergence, is transforming the landscape. Massive pillars of solidified mist, reaching from the ground to the clouds, have begun to pulse with a dark, rhythmic bioluminescence. These are the umbilical cords of the planet, transferring vast amounts of genetic data and nutrients between the soil and the upper atmosphere. The world has become a giant internal organ, where the sky is the ceiling of a planetary womb. The remaining wildlife has undergone a horrific specialization. Predatory aerographs, creatures that were once birds, now possess wings made of translucent, razor-sharp glass fiber, grown from atmospheric minerals. They no longer hunt for meat. They hunt for kinetic energy, diving through the electrified clouds to recharge their synthetic hearts. Below them, the oceans have turned into a thick, gelatinous soup of primordial spores, reflecting the bruised sky above in a perfect, terrifying symmetry. The planet is no longer breathing for us. It is breathing for itself, preparing for a final, violent exhale that will reach the stars. The final stage of the great ascension has begun. The Earth no longer possesses an atmosphere in the traditional sense. It has developed a planetary membrane. This translucent, pulsing shell now encapsulates the entire globe, trapping the heat and energy of the core to accelerate the final metamorphosis. From the ruins of our greatest cities, colossal spires of biological glass have pierced the stratosphere, acting as transmitters for a signal that is now being broadcasted into the deep void of space. We are no longer a planet. We are a beacon. The human legacy has been reduced to a digital ghost, a faint hum within the global neural network. Our memories, our history, and our very DNA have been harvested and compressed into biostorage crystals that now drift in the upper layers of the glowing clouds. As the Earth completes its final exhale, the membrane ruptures, releasing billions of specialized star spores into the vacuum. These are the seeds of the dark nature, designed to survive the frozen silence of the cosmos, traveling on the solar winds to find the next world, the next atmosphere, the next unsuspecting sky. Looking down from the edge of the stars, the Earth appears as a giant, lidless eye, glowing with a sickly, iridescent light. The oceans have been replaced by a throbbing, violet biomass, and the continents have been reshaped into a singular, complex organ of reproduction. The cycle is complete. The sky did not just fall. It rose to claim its place among the stars, leaving behind a hollowed-out husk of a world that once belonged to us. The silence is now absolute, broken only by the rhythmic, cold heartbeat of a planet that has finally and eternally transcended